This week, PTR reveals the new Metabo HPT saw.
Neuron takes on Hilti.
Tim reviews the Flex surface-to-air light.
And thanks to you, we pack up all of this stuff to send to a shop class who needs it.
This is your Power Tool Week in Review. Today's episode is brought to you by Ego, power beyond belief. Welcome back, Power Tool fans. I'm Rob.
And I'm Sarah. And before we get started, don't forget to find Jay's head.
If you've subscribed and hit the bell, you're likely here in the first 60 minutes. And if so, keep an eye out for Jay's head, super normal sentence. And if you find him, email us at first@coptool.com with his location for a shot at our weekly $50 gift card from Ohio Power Tool.
If you haven't discovered the joy of a small but powerful right angle impact wrench, you're not truly living. And thanks to Tide, you're about to have all the information you need to buy the right one the first time. To determine who's the best, he rounded up the usual suspects from Milwaukee, including both their M12 and M18 versions, Cobalt, Makita, Ingersoll Rand, and Skill. He then proceeds to test torque and speed and then puts them to work on a few truck tires. But of course, power and speed isn't everything, and right angles are specifically designed for ergonomics. So Todd takes his time reviewing the handles and even measures all of their dimensions. When the nuts all spin to a stop, Todd chooses 3 winners, encouraging you to consider pricing and battery platform before you buy, which makes sense. To see who comes out on top, head over to Project Farm.
So do you remember that Flex event that we try really hard not to talk about because so many of you get emotional when we do? Well, Vince saw it too, and a particular test caught his eye. Specifically, the impact weightlifting rig that involves spinning a large wheel that in turn wound up a line of rope, lifting a weight like 15 feet in the air, which left a lot of VCG fans with questions. So to answer those questions, Vince and the Very Cool gang decided to build their own rig, and the thing works. Once they had it set up, they were not only able to duplicate the test that Flex did, but they also grabbed a bunch of models that Flex didn't and ended up answering a ton of questions that a lot of us wanted answered. They not only ran tests, but allowed us to watch them go through the building process, which was just as much fun. This was an incredibly entertaining video to watch, and it looks like the boys are already working on follow-ups. You can find them at VCG Construction.
The boys at PTR are back in the test shop. This time they got their hands on the Metabo HPT 36-volt rear handle circular saw and set out to see if their claim of lighter weight meant a sacrifice of power. This is the Metabo HPT 36-volt multi-volt 7¼ rear handle circular saw, or the Metabo HPT C3607DWA for my nerds. It'll cut up to 5 layers of 1/2" or 4 layers of 5/8" plywood in a single pass. It's powered by a brushless motor that spins up to 5100 RPM, features a quick brake, and because it's multi-volt, you can use the adapter to plug it into the wall when you're tired of the freedom that batteries provide. But perhaps the most intriguing part is the claim that it weighs 2 pounds lighter than the leading rear handle. And if you've used a rear handle saw before, you know that as you use that handle to reach across sheet goods, only to carry it back on an outstretched arm, weight is a big deal on these things. To find out if the weight does make a difference, and of course to see if the saw can do the job, head over to Pro Tool Reviews.
Dave over at Mancaver Tools is still digging through his crate of Hilti tools. This time, he thought it was a good idea to see if these new Neuron versions are actually an improvement over the old cordless Hilti 22-volt tools. To do that, he grabbed the new Hilti Neuron SID 622 and tested it against the SID 4A22. Now on paper, this should be a pretty big improvement. We're talking about 1700 inch-pounds versus 2600 and 2700 RPM versus 3600. But perhaps most interesting is the minor $10 bump in price. This is why we're all so excited about Neuron. The tools are all promising a significant performance increase without a huge price jump. And Dave's testing puts these promises on full display. If you've been ignoring Hilti for a long time, you should really be watching these videos over at Mancaver Tools. If only so you know what you're missing.
Okay, can we talk about Shop Class Heroes for a moment?
Only if I can snap all the tools in.
Okay, do it. Oh, good God.
I know, right? For those of you who don't know, our channel membership program called the Production Crew has been working with us to help promote the trades this year.
And after a lot of research, we felt the best way to help was to lend a hand and some tools to as many shop classes as we can across the country. And we found our first class in Stockton, California. This is Weston Ranch High School.
Their agricultural mechanics teacher, Ruel Celeste, reached out to tell us about his class. Now, Ruel teaches agriculture wood and mechanics, and his teaching partner, Natalie, teaches agriculture welding. They're actually both first-year teachers and said that their classroom could use some missing tools, and a lot of them are kind of old.
That's where you guys came in. Thanks to our production crew, we're sending all of these tools and more to Western Ranch High School to help promote the trades and to support more shop class heroes.
So we have a wide variety of things here. And like Sarah said, this is just a teaser what we could fit on the desk. The next room has boxes stacked up.
So many boxes.
Thanks to Hart, and we'll get to that in a minute. So he gave us a list of things that the classroom needed.
A wish
some
list,
things that are
yes.
missing. Yep. And we did our best to cover as many of those things as we could. So along the power tool lines, they needed drills, impacts, jigsaws, and sanders.
Yep.
So we went to Hart and bought a ton of this stuff. That's with the money that you guys helped us raise.
We also got extra batteries and chargers.
Yeah, we figured, after a classroom uses a bunch of batteries, we got them 2 of these 4.
Those are amazing.
These 4 port chargers. We use them all the time. We love them. So that way they can charge everything overnight or in between classes. After we got those Hart tools together, we called Hart and said, hey, could you guys maybe help us out a little, because they need a whole bunch of like PPE and some other general small things, and they ended up sending us
not disappoint.
over 30 hammers.
They gave us
hand
saws, tape measures,
tapes,
and more boxes of PPE than I can actually count.
Tons, ear protection, eye protection.
They have respirators.
Yep,
like
it's
everything.
amazing. So they sent us a ton of stuff to give to this classroom. They also asked for some wood turning chisels, so we found some of those at our local Woodcraft. We also got some general bench chisels,
Yes.
which is great. There's a couple things from Capro as well, some measuring tools, that kind of fun stuff. There's a lot here. And of course, with Spyder sponsoring our production crew, they insisted we send them a bunch of Spyder stuff. So we have a pack of jigsaw blades for all their new jigsaws. We've got a couple packs of their mock blue stinger bits, which are our favorites. We've got a paddle bit set. Honestly, we are blown away by all the support we got from so many different brands. And we cannot wait. We're going to ship this stuff out to them tomorrow. And while we're thanking people, I want to cover everybody. First of all, Robert Bates. Bob is just as dedicated to growing the trades and supporting shop classes as we are, and he's supporting this effort every month. Thank you, Bob.
Also, as we mentioned last week, Flex donated a shelf of all new Flex tools to our production crew giveaway, so we were able to use the money they saved us on Western Ranch High School, bringing the total to over $3,000.
We also want to thank Hart for offering to provide all the hammers, the tapes, the saws, and many, many boxes of PPE that we couldn't fit on this desk.
And last of all, Spyder for sponsoring our production crew this year, making so much of this even possible.
Speaking of, tomorrow is our 3rd production crew live giveaway. So join Sarah and I here tomorrow on Saturday, March 26th, where we'll randomly choose another winner, and they'll get to choose a set of power tools worth over $2,000.
So make sure you subscribe and click that bell so you don't miss it.
All right, we have a few videos left to cover, so would you mind snapping this away, Sarah?
Sure.
Okay, well that was the jigsaw. I need you to get all of this stuff away. Can you try just snap a little harder? That was the sand. Okay, I appreciate it. I'm just gonna snap it away.
Okay. Okay, now that I've tried it, I have a whole new respect.
For my snapping?
No, for our editors. You rock, Spencer! Moving on to Tim over at Shop Tool Reviews, who got his hands on the new Surface to Air Flex Dual Power LED Tower Light. Dang, that's a name. We've had the light here for a few weeks now and are absolutely in love with it. And as it turns out, Tim loves it too. He highlights the quick setup, multi-directional and detachable head, and perhaps best of all, the dual power source. You can either pop in a flex battery or use an extension cord to put it into an outlet. But Tim wasn't done there. He also found time to finally review the Milwaukee M18 mower. But this was the first time that we've seen anyone take it into some serious brush like this. As we said before, this mower is a unique tool specifically designed for pros, which is why Milwaukee chose to push the slider from runtime deep into power instead. And just look at that thing go! You can find both videos at Shop Tool Reviews.
Last of all, Marius from Mastering Mayhem shared a review of my favorite flex tool, the Flex 6.5-inch inline circular saw. What makes this saw unique is the inline design. So the handles, motor, and battery are all right in line with the blade. They do this by placing the motor behind the blade instead of next to it, and then using a belt drive to get the power to the blade. The result is the ability to see your cut from either side, which is a big deal to anyone who's ever cut sheet goods with a saw like this. Plus, because that motor isn't on the axis of the blade, they can move it closer to the plate, giving this 6.5-inch blade the cutting depth of a 7.25. Marius details the features and puts it to work on a stack of plywood. If you're still living in the Stone Ages and only able to see the blade from one side of your saw, head over to Mastering Mayhem.
So are you ready for tomorrow?
I am. So again, this is our 3rd time that we've done this. We go live at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which Sarah and I don't do a lot of live. so it's usually full of shenanigans and screw-ups.
They're not my favorites, but I enjoy these ones.
Right. Well, it's fun because we get to give stuff away.
Right, it makes it special.
Yeah, so be sure that you are subscribed and you click the little bell so you'll get notifications the second we go live. Because live on YouTube, we reach out, find our winner, and we let them choose from one of these 4 shelves. Each one covered with $2,000 worth of power tools. So we hope we'll see you there.
If you liked this video, we would greatly appreciate a thumbs up. And if you loved it, we hope that you subscribe.
All right, guys, go do something kind for someone else this weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow.